You look so far away. Welcome back to the M.a.N podcast. My name is Thomas and I have the special guest, Cassandra. Long awaited. We've been planning to do this for... Well, I kind of sprung it on Cassandra. She said to me one time, the next guest you have on, I want it to be a female. And I was like, well, let's get you on. So that's what we've done. We have Cassandra on. Cassandra is a coach at TSHF Fitness. And a big part of the business and a big part of the development of the business. But what we're going to get her to do is to talk a bit about her. We're going to try and find out a bit more about her. And then we will just see where the conversation goes. So Cassandra, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And we'll just go from there. She's nervous.
What would you want to know?
Start from the start. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And then how did you lump yourself working with TSHF Fitness? And fill in everything in between.
Right, short version. Born in Sweden, raised in Belgium, lived in Belgium till I was about 20... God, I've got to think now. 24? Yeah, 24. Or 23. I can't remember. Did a study abroad program in London, moved back to Belgium, then got an internship in London, so I moved back to London, was there for about 5 years, moved to Sweden for a bit, moved to Sweden for a bit, and then moved to Arbroath. Was here for, what's that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. 6 years. And then decided to move back to Sweden May last year.
Mm-hmm.
And have been in Sweden since then. So that's kind of what I'm not from one place.
A bit here, there and everywhere.
Yeah. So
at what point did you start the personal training journey? Because when you were in Belgium till you were 24, do you want to tell us a bit about what you studied in London and then what were the steps to becoming a personal trainer?
Yeah. No logical steps. I've got a degree in event management. Studied fashion merchandising and communications in London just because I suppose it was just a bit... I just wanted to go against what everybody else was doing, because all my classmates were doing like accounting or law or languages, and I was like, no, screw that.
Was that school?
Yeah. So when I was 18, everybody just went off and did standard stuff. Yeah. And then when I ended up in London after my internship, I suppose I just got into the gym. It was one of my colleagues, who is now a very, very good friend. She kind of got me into going to the gym. Well, she got me into going to Zumba. I was like, no, I'm not. I won't enjoy that. But I did. It was a bit of fun, and then that kind of led into me starting to go to boxing, and then the boxing instructor got me into the gym, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I seen the benefits of how it made me feel like just strong and happier and healthier and just a better version of myself, I suppose.
Did you play any sports growing up?
No. Well, yeah. What's it called in English?
Describe it.
Is it netball?
Yeah.
Like the static hoop?
Yeah.
So I played netball, but that was just because my brother played it, and like the whole family was into it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll play it, but I didn't enjoy it.
No?
No.
I bet you're pretty good because you're quite athletic, tall. Were you pretty good, or were you just kind of there for that?
I could have been good, but I just couldn't be bothered.
That's hilarious. So what then was the transition from, like, you said fashion communications, right?
Yeah.
Like event management, fashion communication, going to these classes, what was like was there like a deciding point, or was there like something that happened that you're like, I actually think I want a career in health, fitness and exercise?
Well, I suppose, and he's not going to listen to this, so I can be quite honest. I really enjoyed going to the gym. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing how it made me feel and the benefits that it had on like my life and my body and like my mental health, and I thought, oh, it'd be fun to do that as a job. So I went home to my then partner and I went, I think I want to do a PT course. And he just went, why? I was like, because I'm enjoying it and I think I would enjoy it as a job. And he just went, it's a fucking waste of money. Oh, can I swear on this?
Yeah, you're fine.
He's like, it's a waste of money. And you know what? That just made me go, well, I'm going to prove you wrong, you idiot.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I suppose that was kind of I wanted to do it, but that was kind of I'll prove you wrong. Like the driver behind, I want to do really well in this.
Yeah. And did you do level 2, level 3?
Yeah, exercise referral. And just like, and just some additional classes. So I did MetaFit, I did a MetaFit qualification on top, did a boxing qualification on top, Les Mills Grit. That's it, I think.
You like your classes, don't you?
I do.
What do you find? Well, we've spoke about this a couple of times actually. So anybody, again, I don't want to make this about me. The thing that I struggle with is I've never been someone that's went to classes. I've always quite liked to just like go to the gym, training on my own. Even when I played basketball, I was on a team, but I liked practicing on my own. What were your favourite things about classes, and what kind of drew you towards doing and teaching more classes? And remember, we kind of spoke about like those things that your favourite things about classes are attending them.
Yeah.
Was that like a crossover to why you liked coaching and teaching as well? You'll have to explain what it was.
I just like the energy of a class, because there's like, usually there's quite a few of you, and like your energy, you just bounce off each other. Like if I go to a class, I'm quite like, so if I go to a body pump class or that functional fitness class at home, I'll look at that, I'll look at the person next to me and go, fuck, they're lifting more than me.
Yeah.
I need to bump up my weights, because I could do that. I suppose there's like the social aspect as well. You're not just on your own.
Yeah.
Because it can be quite like a loner life, I think.
Yeah.
But then I also like that. I like putting my headphones on and just training weights. But I suppose that's what I like about going to classes, teaching classes, is just seeing a big group of people just giving it the role.
Yeah.
You can't compare it to one-to-one PT, I think. It's different.
Yeah, it is totally different. It is totally different. Okay, so I bet there'll be people thinking like, oh, I wish you would ask this, or we should ask this, and that's what I'm trying to think of, like to go with this. And the thing that's hard is like me and Cassandra speak so often that there's a lot of little nicety, like, would it be niceties, is that the word I'm trying to think, that are like to your story that I've maybe heard so many times that like, it feels almost like, do you know what I mean? I'd feel silly asking it again. But what were then the stages from like, you done a bit of personal training in London, right? You done one-to-one and classes.
Yeah.
What was that like? And then what was the transition from doing that in a big city to then moving to Arbroath and doing, because you done one-to-one and classes in Arbroath as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was it like in London, and then what was it like in Arbroath?
It was just, London was like a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it was less personable. Is
Yeah.
that the right word?
I think so.
Like when I was teaching in Arbroath, I knew everybody's name who came to my classes.
Yeah.
I knew who their partners were, I knew if they had kids or a dog, or like, you just get to know people. Whereas London was very much like people would come to a class and leave.
Yeah.
Like numbers were a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like numbers in Arbroath would vary anywhere between like, I don't know, 5 and 30.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in London it would be like 30 was a minimum.
Yeah.
Usually.
Wow. That's kind of cool, being a big part of that.
Yeah. It does give you like, a bigger class does give you a buzz as an instructor.
Yeah. So, right, a big thing with Cassandra that gets completely, I think, or I feel gets overlooked with like your social media, and even like when we're speaking just now, and like I've even kind of like diverged from it. Like you are very good with this idea of event management, and that event could be building businesses, like promoting things, creating things, marketing things. Did you learn a lot? I know you're like well, Cassandra has a very savvy, like she is very savvy business wise. Is there businesses that you've been involved in that were like out with fitness that you could maybe talk a bit about, or because you've done so many different things, you have so many different tiers of things. And again, I don't know if they were anything down in London before that, or it was all up here.
It was all up here.
It was all up here.
Yeah.
So Cassandra helps me a lot with business, and Cassandra, her ability to market and advertise herself, a lot of that's nothing to do with me. Do you feel like the event management stuff helps you with your social media and the content that you create? Do you think about that when you're posting it or sharing it? No. That's fantastic.
No, I don't really. I suppose, I don't know, yeah, there was a business, well, obviously there was a business aspect to the event management, and it's made me a bit, or it's given me that, I don't know what to call it.
Because there's
I
times...
just see the logic in stuff, or I'll...
You can slag me off, because there's times when we say stuff and you're like, no, you're not doing that for free, or like, no, we're not giving that away, like, you can slag me off if you want, if there's stuff that you see that I do. Because she does, like, regularly there'll be things like Cassandra is very much, she's far more business minded than I am, I would say.
I think sometimes you get so carried away that you need someone to go, whoa.
I get too excited.
Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What if you do it like this? Make sure. Because what we're doing right now, I think there's been a couple of times that, you know, have you asked him for this? Have you looked through this? What about this?
Yeah. And do you think that strategic comes, that like...
I think that's a mix of, like, the degree.
Yeah.
Because that gave me a lot of, like, what's the word? Like structure.
Yeah,
There's methods to... I'm a very methodical person. And then obviously being involved in what I was involved with before.
Yeah.
Because there was so many businesses. There was a household.
Yep.
There was the main business, and then 2 separate businesses, my own business and other work.
Yeah.
I had to be quite organised.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I don't...
Yeah, and I can see that when, like, planning this, like Cassandra coming over to Scotland, we should have probably spoke a bit about that. Like there was, like we were supposed to be taking over the facility that we were looking to open, but again, just probably me just getting too excited, like you said. Like there was things that we still needed to do, things that still needed sorted, and we'd planned to have Cassandra over for like the grand opening. But yeah, that's why Cassandra's here now. And Cassandra, when we got here, was like, right, what are we doing this day? 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 And the thing with personal training is because, well, one, the industry is quite volatile. Day-to-day planning and preparation can be quite volatile. There's people cancel. Changes in weather can impact things. I also wanted it to be like you weren't just... Once we found out we weren't going to be opening the gym up, I wanted it to be that you were... like able to actually just like get some downtime as well, but in comparison to me, you are very methodical. In comparison to my, I don't know if I'm just like
being organised.
Yeah.
Like being unorganised gets me like, I wouldn't say it's anxious, but I'm like, I need to know when I'm coming and going and.
Yeah. So how did you feel that I just sprung this on you today?
Well, this is the second time you did this.
Yeah.
But I've kind of learnt to accept it from you. Not that I condone it.
I don't condone it, but...
It's almost like... Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, So we've slagged me off enough. We'll move on to... Right, so I'm going to tell you a funny story, actually. I just remembered this the other day when we were going to sit down and we were going to do this. I'd seen Cassandra coaching in... it was the sports centre. I'd seen Cassandra coaching in the sports centre, and the things that she was saying and the way she was like managing her client, I was like, she's a fantastic personal trainer. I'd love to have her involved in TS Health and Fitness somehow. We then sat down in a gym that I used to work at, but they had a gym before it. I don't want to name names because there's been, and I'll maybe talk about that, like riffs in the past. They had a gym, we met, and I was pretty much saying to Cassandra, like, I'd really like you to come and work with TS.
But you didn't. I'm a very straightforward person. You need to tell me, don't...
Yeah, keep going then, go.
Don't beat around the bush, just tell me how it is. I hate when people do that.
So I'm pretty sure I'd said, would you ever want to come and work with TS Health and Fitness?
No,
I'm sure I did.
No, that first meeting at the old facility, you just went, do you want to grab a coffee and just have a chat? Yeah, that's fine. And we just ended up talking about doing like a book club with other PTs. That is pretty much all we talked about. And business. And it wasn't until the second meeting that you were like, how would you feel about working together?
Okay, so yeah, we'll go with Cassandra's story then. So that's how it kind of went. But I can remember one of my, like, and I'm dead serious about this, one of my, like, favourite things about Cassandra was I was emailing her. It was email, wasn't it? And I was spelling Cassandra with a K. And you were like, first email, you were like, just to get this out of the way now, it's spelt with a C. And you just, like, told me straight away, and I was like, right, brilliant. There's going to be no beating about the bush, and we're just going to go at, like, your pace, whatever. It was just going to be like clear and honest, and I really liked that. Do you want to give, like, I don't know how you felt when we because it was it me, Aunt Becca, and I. Did I have Becca and Callum at the time, or
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, because the plan was to get like 5 PTs, like under the belt when it was going bonkers. What was it like? Or how did you feel going from like doing what you were doing, because you were doing quite well with it, to then like myself and TS Health and Fitness approaching? What was that like?
I felt quite, because obviously I followed you on Facebook and on Instagram, and it was always like, oh, I know what I'm doing is good, but he's here. So when you approached me, I kind of jumped on it because I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I want to get to where he is. I just saw it as a massive opportunity, and we've spoke about this numerous times. I feel like, so when did I start working with you? About, was it March last year?
Yeah, it must have been March last year.
End of February, March. So what, a year and a bit, a year and 2 months.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned more in that year than I had in 6 years previous. Which is,
and I don't think to me, I don't feel like that's testament to me. I feel like that's just like the way that the industry is. Like, not that there's like no drive with you. Like, another one of my favorite things is like, there is that you want to learn constantly. You'll message me a bunch of times asking, like, what about this? What should I do with this? Can you look over this? I'm going to read this. Have you seen this? Like, you'll do that constantly, and you're competitive. So, like, you have that desire to beat me, to beat other people, to be better than other PTs. You do. You're very competitive. And we'll come back to that. But I think there is, like, a lack of, like, where do you go? Where should a PT go? And what should they learn?
I know, but I do think it's because of you that I've come on, like, leaps and bounds, because you are constantly sending me stuff. Read this. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Right, read this chapter in this book. Let's discuss it. And I didn't have that when I was on my own. I didn't have that. I think it's just good to have someone push you a little bit. And that's what you do.
But you take it like a duck to water. Like, you do just anything I throw at you, you're able to do, and I don't know if people see that, or maybe it is evident because Cassandra is always reading. Cassandra is always doing similar things to like what the TS Health and Fitness brand do. Like, I do think people see that. But what if you were to like try, and this will be hard to kind of think about, but if you were to think about like how you were PTing and how you were approaching it before TSL Fitness, what do you think some of the biggest differences are from before to now? Because you were a good coach before. I thought you were great.
I suppose, just a more all-round approach. We've got a more all-round approach with what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it was just purely like PT sessions.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Now it's like we incorporate like the nutrition side of things. I think the coaching side of things, like, how do you explain that? Like, you have the exercise, you've got the nutrition, but then there is putting it all together and being a coach for your clients.
Yeah.
When they struggle, you're there for them. Like, if they have like a, oh my god, like I had this morning, oh my god, my weight's gone up. Just that, I don't know, the coaching side of things.
Yeah. Are you thinking like the ability to like shuttle information to someone that's not just like, oh, get a move on.
Yeah.
So a bit of like empathy.
Yeah.
And
asking the right questions to get the right answers, and then
a big thing. Well, I guess motivational interview in that book that we're reading, that really helps. And if you are a coach and you're listening, I would definitely recommend reading it. We actually had an interview with a PT yesterday, and I was saying in that interview, like, I knew as soon as I met Cassandra, I knew she could coach a little bit. You were pretty good. You were pretty good in the gym. Like, you knew how to get someone through a session. I knew she was a really good person. Like, I could tell that there was that drive and that passion to helping people. But I knew that, like, over time we just needed to get her to kind of understand more people as much as we possibly could. So we just, like, really threw her in the deep end with coaching. And you quickly learned, like, oh, crap, people don't think the same way as me. People don't like doing the stuff that I like doing. And that was, like, something that I can remember I got instilled quite early on. Do you have any, like, stories about... we've got to be careful what we say. Maybe issues that had happened in the past that reappeared when you worked with TSL Fitness, but you were able to like guide someone through it much easier and much smoother.
I suppose like a big thing with a lot of clients is like motivation.
Yeah.
Where do you get your motivation from on days where you don't want to? I suppose I've got better at coaching people through that.
Yeah.
I suppose I used, because I'm very much like go, even if you don't want to, just go.
Yeah.
Do it. And I suppose I've developed as a person understanding that not everybody is like that, and for some people it is the wrong approach.
Yeah, I you can see it like with the, what would it be? The variety of clients that you've got now that you're getting unbelievable results with. Like, you can see that you're able to adapt a little bit better to different people's personalities, and it's been honestly, it's been amazing to watch. It's been cool to watch as well, because there was like from the start, like I was saying, like I knew you were a good person. I knew that there was just things that we could teach you about that would just like absolutely rocket your performance and getting the results that, because you spoke from the start, you're like, I want to help people, I want to get to see results, and we spoke a lot about that. But yeah, going back to that motivational interview, and I think that's definitely a book, because that's about guiding your clients and not just, and you almost get them to figure out the answer for themselves, because everybody's going to do what they're wanting to do. They're not going to do what you just tell them.
Some people like that.
Some people, you're very much someone, like do that. This, okay. And I guess we could touch on, if anybody does have any more questions about Cassandra and her PTing career, ask them down below or message her. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in there that you would like to talk on or touch on, because I'd quite like to move on to like your current prep that we're going through. Okay, so if you've followed Cassandra for a while, you'll know that she is very athletic. She'll shake her head here. She's lean like year round. She does train very hard. It's not just luck. It isn't just luck. And we will touch on what me, you and Graham were just talking about in the gym as well. What is the story behind what you're wanting to put yourself through just now?
Well, it's you bullied me into it, didn't you?
Yes. That's what we've done.
No. But you made a valid point, like, was it end of last year? Yeah, because you suggested it, first time you suggested it was end of last year, you were like, oh, how would you feel about a photo shoot? I was like, oh yeah, I was quite up for it, but at that time, it just wasn't.
It didn't fit in your life.
It didn't fit. So it kind of just got put on the back burner. And then, 2 months ago? Just over 2 months ago?
Yeah.
You were like, right, you're just coasting along. You need something to get that fire going again. Plus, I want you to do something that is difficult for you, that's hard for you. So when clients are going through something that's difficult, you can relate.
Yeah.
So I think that was the whole idea behind it. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do then? And you're like, you choose. You can do a race, you can do a photo shoot, you can do a marathon. That marathon got scrapped pretty quick.
Remember you put a thing out to like the...
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not going to include... I don't want that to be an option. I just don't like running. Long distances. I like sprints. Or I could do short distance, but long distance, I just...
Yeah. So you were bullied into it.
Yeah.
So I guess I should put like a kind of disclaimer on like my perception on personal training. I don't think if you're a personal trainer you need to be in good shape. I don't think that's true at all. However, I do think you should have gone through something that was difficult. There has to be some sort of either you've developed your physique in a way, or you've had to go through some sort of training plan, or you've had to go through some sort of structure to achieve something. And I'm not limiting it to those three options. But I think as a coach, you need to have experienced, I personally think you need to have experienced something that your clients are going to go through. Because everybody can like sing and brag about like, oh, you need to be empathetic to your clients. It's almost like fake empathy
if you've not
gone through something yourself. And the thing is as well, as a coach, because I coach Cassandra, partly through so she can see how I do things, how I speak, how I deal with people, also how I motivate, do all that stuff. But what I could see is I could just see she was a bit fed up. Like there was nothing in training, was there? There was just like, I'm going through the motions.
If I've said to myself, oh, I'm going 3 times a week and I only went twice, then...
Yeah, there was like, you were just like, meh. And then what was happening is you were like checking in and you were almost like, I don't know if this is what I want. I don't know if I do want to do something. That we then just tried to like take some steps to create something for you. So do you want to tell them about like, I don't know, how you're maybe feeling, what the actual photo shoot is and what you're planning on doing with the photo shoot? Because it'd be like, I think it's nice for you to explain, because we've spoke a lot about how you want it to look. Like, I don't know if you want to talk about that. You're not going to upset or offend anyone. It's just your own, how you feel.
What question do you want me to answer first?
All of them. So like, let's talk about the end goal. Like, what is the photo shoot?
So I seen your photo shoot and I like the look of that. Just to show off your physique, I suppose, and to show off that what's possible.
Yep. Because
people often say to me like, why are you doing this photo shoot? What do you need to do this photo shoot? Oh, well, I need to diet. Diet what? There's nothing of you. Yeah, but there is.
Yeah.
That you can push past, like there's, I think, how do I word this without... Like I'm happy with the way I look, but I know I can be better.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And I just want to see what it takes to get there, and how it's going to make me feel.
Yeah.
And what struggles are going to creep up along the way, and I suppose having that end goal of, I've got an image in my head of what I want to look like. That's what keeps me going, I suppose.
Yeah.
I really want a studio shoot,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to like a gym shoot, just because I personally like the look of them more. That's what I was saying. I like the look of yours because it was quite arty.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I don't know if I can say this. Like, I don't want my shoot to be, like, slutty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not that kind of person. I just want it to, like, show off muscle, show off the hard work that I've put in. And yes, to do that, you're not wearing very much, but I don't want that slutty aspect of...
Yeah.
Because it's not me. Each to their own. If that's what you want to do, great. Go for it. Yeah. But it's not for me.
I think as well, and this has just kind of popped into my head, like, I can remember, are they called, like, boudoir shoots?
Yeah.
Remember there was, like, these kind of classy, like, underwear, lingerie shoots that were kind of done for the partners and things.
Yeah.
I think because the way the world is, everything goes so extreme that, like, what people are now doing is, like, you're pushing that boundary. And we've said, like, we didn't want that, did we? It doesn't really align with, like, the TS Health and Fitness kind of brand either. Like
my personality.
Yeah.
I'm not a girly girl. I'm very, like, train with the boys.
Well, yeah and no. But I guess it doesn't matter if you are or not. It's But I think the part that I'm most nervous about is the actual photo shoot, because it gets so awkward, and I'm not like. But the thing is, like, the good thing is, and this is the way I constantly said to myself as well, is like, we'll get you in a shape that, like, you could stand and scrunch your face up, and everyone's still going to be like, fuck it, look what she looks like, look at the hard work. And I kind of want to pull back to that idea of, like, so there's a couple things that I'm putting Cassandra through that she doesn't realise what I'm doing. So one is, she is dieting on holiday. And I wanted you to be able to see that, like, there are struggles with it, because there's things that you want to do. Because then what happens is when a client goes away, you can be like, right, look, you can go extreme and do this. However, your goals to try and just live a healthy lifestyle, we don't need to do that. And the thing is that I always like to do is I like to go further than I would ever ask a client to go.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, it's not condescending, it's not like a punishment, it's not like a dictator thing. It's like, right, look, you want to do this, you have to do this to get that. But yeah, I'm trying to put you through as much experience as I possibly can through yourself, like doing it yourself. And as you said, there's a few things that you've started to realise. How are you feeling on a whole 8 weeks of dieting? Yeah?
Great. Yeah. I feel strong. I feel like... I thought, well, is it 8 weeks?
I don't know if it is. I don't think it's as long as that.
I think we're 6.
I don't think it's as long as 8. I should have probably checked all this. Because this was so off the cuff, I've not actually managed to do, like, the research that I would do with other people, but we'll get through this, I promise. It's more about you than me anyway, so let's say 6 weeks. We'll just say 6 weeks for argument's sake.
I thought I would have had more struggles in these 6 weeks.
Do you want to tell people, like, where food's at, like, with regards to calories, and then what you're managing to still fit in and eat?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about, like, your boxes? Do you want to tell them about the boxes that you've got to try and tick each week?
I suppose, like, daily boxes are steps, my training session, hitting calories, sleep.
Oh.
I need to work on sleep, and I know that. And drinking enough water. Because I do notice, like, yesterday, I hardly had any, and it makes you feel lethargic, and makes you, like, it makes you feel almost a bit hungover.
Yeah. So where are steps? Like, how many steps are you doing a day?
Well, you've said 10, and I think because I'm not competitive, but I'm like, nah, it's not enough.
So how many are we doing?
Well, just because on Saturday I had a really high step day, so that it's not really an accurate representation. Yeah. This week, roughly what, 11, 12?
It must be
something
close
like
to that. Where's cardio at?
Wow.
Non-existent while you're here.
I did a half hour on Sunday, but because I'm so used to having shower facilities at the gym,
yeah,
and you don't have that here. And I train in the morning, and then I've got a whole day. Because of where I'm staying, it's a half-hour walk. So I'm not going to walk to the gym to train, to then walk half an hour back, to then walk do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there was a shower at the gym, I would have got all my cardio in.
So are we kind of swapping more steps for the cardio just now? Yeah.
But I do notice that cardio is making a huge difference.
It does help. It makes it easier, I feel, in the sense that you just burn that extra, say, like 200 calories
on that machine.
Yeah. There is a buzz though that you get from it. Okay, so we've taken cardio out pretty much. So this is like the other thing as well with me coaching Cassandra. I have to give her flexibility. And if, let's say, like, there is a difference between excuses and reasons. Like, there is a difference between that. Some people would just use that as an excuse or say that is an excuse. Cassandra is still dropping weight, taking cardio out. We did have a little spike yesterday, but we know that there was just a food that we had that slightly higher in carbohydrates, so there's just a little spike in water weight. And another thing as a coach, I guess, is you don't need to push your clients as hard as you possibly can all the time. Cassandra is a human to me before she is anything else, so we prioritise like her health. So we give her a bit of flexibility and freedom to like tell me, Tom, look, I'm doing this. So like when she checks in on her check-in day, Cassandra will have like a little bit being like, cardio's pulled out because I'm not managing to get showered to come back to coach clients, like zigzagging back and forth and back and forth. And to be perfectly honest, we do want this to kind of be a bit like a holiday and a bit of a, like, not quite a deload, but we're pulling a bit off the gas because I know once Cassandra gets back home, falls into her own routine, it's just hell for leather. So again, I want to put context in case there's people listening being like, oh well, I don't ever miss my cardio.
But equally, it really annoys me. Like, it's that internal struggle of I'm really annoyed. I told you that.
It's because you're competitive.
I'm not.
Even if it's just against yourself, yeah.
Maybe. No, it's just because I know I should be doing it, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah. It's again, these things happen, so it's not anything to, and that is like what we say, that like sometimes you just can't do stuff, so you just have to deal with it. Whereabouts are calories?
Good question. I should know this. 1270 on rest days.
Yep.
1250. It's 12 something.
Yep.
On rest days, 1470 on training days.
Yep. So if anybody has seen the progress that Cassandra's already made, what we want you to understand is it's because we're going quite aggressive so that we can then, what's called reverse diet, we can pull her out of the deficit a little bit sooner than the full time that she's going to need for the photo shoot. The look that we want to achieve is not, at the minute, is not absolutely ripped out of her mind. So what we're going to try and do is just get her ready, maintain something that's probably not sustainable for a very long time, but we want to have enough time to be able to play about with things. As a coach, some coaches will disagree that that's silly. This is the first time we've ever dieted Cassandra down, and we didn't expect her to respond the way that she has. And then we've just gradually taken things down. We did also have to pull calories down because there was a lot of social events and different things on, so that the average is higher than what. So she's not actually eating, like, on average, what would that be? Like, let's say like 1,300, 1,400.
Yeah, but
ends
then
up
you've given me high days.
Yeah.
So that kind of, yeah.
Which have been hard for you to do as well. But I guess you could touch on that. Like, why do you think increasing calories, like, is there anything in your mind or anything that you're thinking?
Well, the first time you said it, I was like, oh no, I'm doing this deficit, it's going so well, I'm losing fat, I don't want to wreck it with a high day. And you were like, okay, we'll not do it then. And then I think it was the second time you suggested it. Was it last week? And I was like, oh, fine, I'll do it. I'll have to, just to...
Shut me up.
No, not to just also to, because I know at the end of the day I'm doing this to know what it feels like, and I now know that if I suggest to a client, let's do a high day, and they go, no, I don't want to, I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But then equally, when you suggested it the second time, I was like, okay, well, you'll have to do it and see what effect it has on your body. Well, you told me to do 2 and I did 1.
Yeah.
And I did 1 and I was flying the next day, wasn't I?
Yep. Absolutely flying.
Yeah, and then weight started dropping because I'd stalled for 2 weeks. You so counterintuitively to me gave me 2 high days, which one of them then I took the next day I was flying, and then weight just went.
Yeah. We won't go into why that happens, but like, do you, like, I guess a big thing with you is like this competitiveness. Like, you are like, right, things are going well. I wanted them to just keep going well. Do you feel like you're quite competitive across the board? Like, are you competitive
You
with like
keep
a
saying
lot
that
of
I'm
things?
competitive, but I'm not.
I don't believe you.
Maybe I don't know.
Or do you think it's maybe like a high standard that you just have for
I
yourself?
think so.
Yeah?
I've always been like that. And I kind of know where I've always wanted stuff to be like. I know we always say it's progress over perfection, but it is striving to. It's like I want to get here, and then I get there, and I'm like.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know where that would come from, or do you know, is that just always been a thing that you've always had? I can imagine you being like that as a little girl. Genuinely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got a hunch, but it's quite deep.
If you don't want to share it, honestly, we don't have to.
No, I think my dad's always been like, you can do better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whereas my mum's very like, you're doing well, darling. My dad was the one who was like, he would look at my report card and go, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Dad, I got 80%. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
You need to do better. You need to do better. I think it comes from that.
I guess something though that's like you saying that's kind of like made me think there. Like, there's a few things that you've said to me that you've done, and I'm like, I just see there's like so much potential in you, and maybe you just don't see it. And maybe it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I do. Like, there's like, so let's talk about the thing. So this actually nicely drives us into what me, you, and Graham were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have seen Cassandra's like physique on her stories or in her training videos, Cassandra has a physique that is like physique model-esque. Like, it is. And I know you're like, nah. And she started showing me some like, and this is something that we spoke about, but it's not going to happen. And a big thing that I want people to understand is I am not a bodybuilding coach. I don't see myself like that at all. I think I'm more of a just fat loss, physique development. And I guess that they things are tie in with bodybuilding, that it could be seen as the same thing. But like, when you started showing me physiques that you were like, I quite like this lady's physique, and it was a girl. I don't know what the category would be. I can't remember what it was called. But Cassandra already looked slightly leaner and more athletic than her. That like, I did suggest that, like, look, Cassandra, I think you could do really, really well in a category. And I think if we were to go down that route, we would funnel her into I think I would funnel you into someone else. I think I would get you coached by someone else.
But I don't want to do that, and you know that.
Yeah, no, but that, and then it's not. She's not interested, so we're not going to do it. But there is the potential for Cassandra. Like, I genuinely think she could, with her physique, become like a sponsored athlete. I think she definitely could, and we spoke about potentially starting to reach out to people. And I want to talk about how she has achieved that. And if you've seen, I don't think you share the videos of how truly hard you do work. I think you show to the point of like, this is a bit harder than most would train. But Cassandra actually goes like a big step ahead of that. And that's why I really like training with you. Because it's like training with a professional athlete. Like, you are not done until it is done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And is there a reason that do you think that like, from what you've been saying there about always wanting to do a bit better, do you think that ties in with
Maybe.
how your training approach?
Maybe. Probably.
Do you want to tell us why you like training like that?
It just makes me feel great. It just shows me that I want to be there, I can get there, and then I can give it some more.
Yeah, yeah.
And that it's actually insane what your body can do.
Yeah. I think it's like, so when I'm saying that about you, like, we shared a video of you the other day, and it's like, the man that loves walking will walk further than the man that loves the destination. Like, I think you love the walking. Like, I will try while Cassandra's here. We're going to try and get a session, and I want to try and record content of her training, so you can see the level of determination. And it is like, I don't want to say frightening because it's not scary, but it's like, it fires me up because I think I train hard, and then I see you training, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck her. Because there's points where I'm like, I'll say, like, as a laugh, just like in my head, like, I think you could do a couple more. And then you're like,
challenge
fine.
accepted.
And then she just does a couple more. So let's look at this different. I keep spitting just now. When you were doing like the classes and the MetaFit and the boxercise, did you push like that during them?
No.
No.
No. Because it's physically like, if you're one-to-one with someone, like when I trained the client on, you know who I'm talking about,
Yeah,
I don't want to name names, I know that I can do that with her.
Yeah.
I know that I can get her to a point where she's like, I can't, and she was shaking. I was like, come on, two more, and she did it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you could do that one-to-one because you're one-to-one with them, whereas as a class you might push someone who might push them because you're telling them to do that, but they physically aren't quite there.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit, I suppose it's just a safety thing.
Yeah.
Like you can push a class to a certain extent, but yeah.
And with your own training, like yourself, you personally, when you were doing the classes, would you push yourself to like, you would?
Yeah.
It's honestly like, I think of it like, and I'm not blowing smoke up your bum here. When I see it, I think of it as like a professional athlete. Like when I see how hard you're pushing, I do just think like this is like a different. There's like, if you're someone out there that is listening and you've trained to failure, you know how much it sucks. Cassandra will go to failure, and then you can give her a few more assisted reps, and she'll just keep going. And the pain of going to failure it's horrendous. Like, it sucks. But Cassandra seems to like it, and she will every time jump off and be like ecstatic about it. I just get excited that I'm able to get there. Like, I'm like, thank God I got there and it's done now. Whereas you're like, that was exactly where I wanted.
Let's go again.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I don't know if people, and it's probably hard, and like you could probably tell if you are listening that like Cassandra is quite humble in herself. Like, if you do watch her, you see she's got a huge amount of knowledge. She has this very athletic physique. She trains really hard. She has this crazy drive. But Cassandra doesn't ever really notice or see it. She just kind of sees it as like, well, what do I have to do next? Like, what is the next thing? And I guess I'm kind of blowing a bit of smoke up your ass here, but like, it's fucking brilliant to be a part of. Like, it's class to see. And I'm hoping that people, if they do listen to this, they then start to notice the stuff that potentially I'm noticing, or the things like they've maybe seen it and they're like, no, that is totally you.
There's only so much you can show on social media, though. Not can show, but that comes across.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to try and get a video of you, like, going to that, like... And people talk about, like, these dark places, and...
It's not a dark place.
It's not dark. I don't think of it as a dark place. I think of it as, like, you're doing what needs done, and you're willing to do a little bit more than what other people would see as, like... I don't want to say safe, but, like...
It's just how you get there. So my new plan involves a lot of like high volume stuff, like 20, 25, 30 reps of stuff. And I've not trained like that before. I've always trained to like a max of 12. Whereas I've found myself looking at, say, a set of 20, right? I'll go, right, you need to get to 10, and then deal with the rest after you get there. And then in my head, I'm like, right, get the next 5. And then you get the next 5, and you're like, get the next 3. And you get the next 3. And then you're like, come on, only 2 more. And it's almost like, that's what I was saying earlier, like, I'm quite methodical. Like, I'll see it in, like within my set, I have, like, mini goals.
Yeah.
However stupid that sounds. No. Otherwise, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could, I think I would give up it easier.
Yeah, I do something similar.
And then I say the things in my head that...
Yeah. Which are pretty extreme, and you can say them if you want. Like, this is the other thing as well you got to understand is, like... what I do is pretty extreme, and what's obviously happened, pardon me, is it's rubbed off a little bit on Cassandra. Cassandra also, as you can tell, has this crazy drive. She has this this ability to like push herself, and we don't coach our clients the way that we coach each other or ourselves. We use tools to drive and push people on.
But you need to. I think it's so important to understand that some people can take that.
Yeah.
And some people, it's not right for them.
Yeah, 100%. You can say you can say it if you want. You could say that, like, so. There is some stuff that we do, and it's just what we like. It is just purely what we like. And again, if it upsets people, like, I guess we don't really care because we're doing our thing. We're doing what we want.
Yeah, but I don't ever want people to be put off by what I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't want someone to see me train and go, oh, I could never get coached by her because that's what she does. But it's not because I do it that you have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that, because every time I'm in prep for bodybuilding show, every time I've dieted hard, I've dropped clients because I think people think, oh, he's on the Stairmaster for an hour every day, he's going to make me do that. But that's just what I need to do.
Yeah. I suppose the main reason why I want to do this is because I want to do something that's difficult, not because I want to look nice for a photo shoot. That's the end goal, and it excites me, and it is really exciting. But I just want to do something that's hard, that's tough.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you want to do something that's hard? We know that, like, you want to be able to relate to clients. You want to be able to have something, but like, there might be something more there. Do you think?
No, I just like having that fire in my belly for something. As I said earlier, it's like, okay, this photo shoot's happening in August. I'm already thinking, when this photo shoot's done, what's the next thing?
Do you want to talk about what you're thinking about doing?
Well, I like the idea of high rocks.
Yeah.
Just because I'm now like, this is like, yeah, it's pushing me like physique wise, and it's pushing me like food wise, but I think a high rocks is a race, so it'll push me, like, it'll be interesting to see how competitive I get, and like I think it'll be more demanding on my body. Like I said, I've not felt DOMs, and I thought I would. You're just like, push more weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which again, you'll probably try.
I will, but I do think that training for high rocks is just, if you watch the videos on YouTube, it's like, it's just something else, isn't it?
Yeah, they are phenomenal athletes. Okay, so let's come back to the photo shoot. What are some of the negatives, or what are some of the things that maybe happened while we've been dieting for the photo shoot that you didn't expect to happen, that have happened, or changes in your body that have happened that you didn't expect?
My boobs have gone. Very open, but I did not. I kind of expected it because I know, but I didn't expect it to be that quick. Also, like what do you call it?
You've got like striations, yeah.
Across here, and like I didn't expect them to come that quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about them.
So this is when we're talking about Cassandra. Like we're almost where I think she wants her physique to look. That we're probably going to have to just like pull away from like a photo shoot prep to then start it again, maybe like 6 weeks down the line, because we've seen how quick our body responded to it. And the thing is, that's probably partly due to the thing is because your body weight didn't even change for like a while, and it came down very slowly, and it
came down first week. A little bit first week. Second week, I can remember you going, this is the biggest drop we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks after that, the week after that, it went up by like 0.3. Then the week after that, it stayed. And then last week I dropped a kilo.
Yeah.
And this week, it's looking like it's going to be like another 0.8.
Yeah. So yeah, you've actually dropped a fair bit of weight. That's why you're looking the way you look.
But it's not been hard. It's not been like...
So this is the other thing, like, so see, like, thinking about it, like, we could push you to the point that's like you're already not really liking the striations across your chest, you've got like vascular shoulders, you got really vascular forearms already. I think for us to push you to a position where it actually started to, like, you felt tired, you felt sluggish, you started getting cravings, I think you would be like shredded. And I mean like an anatomy poster. Like, I think that's where it would have to probably get to. But because you're not wanting that look, we're probably going to have to pull off the gas. And I think that, like, something like the battering yourself for, like, the high rocks or doing something like that's probably going to be slightly more, I wouldn't say challenging, because we've already had a couple little challenges on things like, it's not even really challenges, you've been just like all in. So like, you've gone to parties and you've said, oh no, I'm not going to eat with you guys. You've gone to like family things and you've been like, oh, I'll come after I've eaten, or I'll take my food with me. Like, you've been able to do those things.
I do think that I've got a very supportive, like... So I'm staying with my best friend at the minute, and when I told her, like, I'm gonna have to... Can I have a shelf in your fridge? Can I have a shelf in your cupboard? She just went, yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't question it. She just went, whatever you need to do, I'm here for you. Whereas I think a lot of people maybe don't have that.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder. The first time I had to not get angry. Didn't get angry. But I had to be like, I don't want that drink. Oh, come on then. I don't want it. Get away from me.
Your face went so serious there.
I don't know. I suppose it's just having that. Whereas before I would have gone, oh, come on then.
Yeah.
It's because I have that. I know where I'm going, and it's almost like I get like tunnel vision.
Yeah. I guess having that clarity, and like, this is the thing that we speak to clients about, and like that, this is the thing that, like, the beauty is you're getting all the experience of stuff that you'll tell clients. Like, once you've got clarity, it's easier to take the steps. Once you know, like, the smaller steps that you can take, you're going to get more steps as opposed to try to take like one big leap. Which is, it's cool to see, and it's cool to hear you talk about it as well. And if this podcast seems like I've spoke more than Cassandra, I do apologise.
You just don't shut up.
I know.
I'm joking.
I actually, do you know what? I've been planning a podcast on my own.
Yeah, you should.
But it'll be like 4 hours. I want to kind of touch a bit more on you as opposed to like all the amazing things that you can do, because again, what you've done is I think you've tried to play it down and make it sound like, like, because I do think that you have this like another level that most people can't even see, never mind be in. And I know you're like, no, but I genuinely, like, having seen you this time round, like how lean you are and how hard you are training. And this isn't me just like saying like in like a small TS Health and Fitness bubble. This is like, I spend most of my life involved or watching or discussing elite athletes, like professional physique transformations. Like, I spend that Cassandra is like up there, and I am very excited as well to share with everybody what we do achieve, because it's going to be a bit of a mind blower. I want to shift away from that, because I think the best thing's going to be once you get there, just to show everybody like this is what Cassandra can do, and it's fucking mental. Do you want to tell us a bit more about like growing up in Sweden, living in Belgium, family, like what was family life like growing up? Do you have brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I've got a brother, older brother. Yeah, he's an older brother. We used to fight when we were little. I think all kids do. Now he's like my best mate. He's got a wonderful wife and 2 wonderful little boys. And a great dog. So the dog that you see on my Instagram, a lot of people think it's mine.
I think I do sometimes as well.
Because I have her so often, but I don't. No.
Yeah.
I only borrow her from time to time.
And he lives in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody live in Belgium now?
No.
No.
Not anymore. We've all moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is everybody still quite close?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mum lives how far from you?
About a 15-minute drive.
So
opposite the gym.
Oh, okay,
So,
ideal then.
yeah. So it's quite convenient. It is convenient because I'll go to the gym and then I'll go and see her. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes it's longer.
Oh, I was about to ask you something, I can't remember what it was. What did I look at there and see it? There was something I was about to ask and it's just gone. Do your family support like your health, fitness, all that stuff? Yeah. That's kind of
My
cool.
mum will forever she watches my stories.
Oh, does she?
She does.
Oh, she actually comments on like the main page sometimes when we share you.
And I'm like, Mum, just watch what you comment.
And she said she speaks in Swedish, so I always have to put it in Google Translate. So if she does listen, I do actually copy everything that you say. I put it in Google Translate, and then I try and like answer it in English, and then transfer it back. So if what I say doesn't ever make sense, that's why. So I'm sorry. But
She'll love that.
That is what I do. Do you see quite a large... I know that we've spoke for an hour, so we'll just talk for a little bit longer. And I know as well you've got a client in half an hour. Do you see quite a big difference in like the health and fitness culture between Sweden and the UK? And we can either talk about how busy gyms and classes are in comparison to gyms and classes here. And then we could also talk about like drink... eating and like what the differences are there.
I think the main difference that I've seen in classes are that, and I don't want this to come across as like, people go to classes in Sweden and they go hell for leather.
Yeah.
Like they will give it their all. There are no like 2 kg dumbbells in a class.
Yeah.
It's just not an option. It starts at 10.
That's why you're the way you are.
Yeah. So I think training wise, I do think we're very outdoorsy. Like we're very, especially in summer, if there's an opportunity to be outside, we'll take it. I don't know, I just think that health is considered higher. Does that make sense?
Like prioritise, like it's more important.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, you see all the sweet stuff that is on offer. Like, no wonder there's so many diabetics in Sweden.
It'd be interesting, I'm going to look that up actually, what the differences are on percentages. Because it could end up being that we're talking absolute nonsense and Sweden's way less healthy.
Maybe, but it's more obvious. Like, you'll see loads of people with, the Yeah.
Are sweet things quite like a prominent thing in your diet then?
Yeah. Like, it can be.
You said the pastries are amazing, right?
It's called fika.
Fika.
Yeah, fika. And it's just like, you have a coffee and a cake and you don't bat an eyelid.
And is that like... So is fika, is that a meal or is that like
snack?
A time? Is that like the name for it? And you would meet and have coffee and that?
Okay, yeah.
That's cool.
The other thing I think is I said this on my stories the other day, there's not as many like good takeaways. Here it's so easy, you get fish and chips, you get a kebab, you get a pizza, you get Chinese, you get an Indian, you get...
Hear my stomach rumbling there.
We're tag teaming because mine's going too. There's so many different options, whereas at home, I think if you live in a town, maybe, but because I live where I live and it's about 15 minutes outside, by the time you get your takeaway home, it's cold.
Yeah.
So if you do, you just go out for a meal.
Is that quite a common thing?
Yeah, but then that's quite expensive, so you don't do that as often as you would here.
Because it's like almost like a weekly thing here, isn't it? Do you guys get? Is it quite? What do they call it now? Do you have quite a social? Like, is it like quite family orientated? Like, you guys get together quite a lot. Do you think that's similar here, or do you feel that it's more friends here as opposed to family? Yeah. I was just guessing.
Yeah. That. Obviously, I've not really had that experience.
Yeah.
I did to a certain extent. But it's more, yeah. I just think everything back home is more family orientated.
Yeah.
Like, people will come to a class and bring their baby.
Oh, really?
Sit in the pram next to them. Like, there was a lady at Body Pump the other day and she just brought a kid, sat in the pram, happy as Larry, just watching everybody go.
I hope you can hear that. Are you getting really hungry now?
Yeah.
Right, we'll start to wrap this up then. Oh, actually, quick shout out. There's a girl that comes to the gym with her baby, and she's really getting after it herself. The baby just lays there, watches. I love that no matter what you do, the kid looks just like unimpressed. And I'm always like, come on, at least smile at me or something. It's just...
No.
Yeah. It's a nice thing, I suppose. 2 questions. Do you quite like coming back to...
I love it.
Yeah?
I love, like, I said this to you the other day, like, I love coming back because I get to train clients. I get to see them face to face, and it does build a different relationship. I get that, like, fire again for coaching. I get to see you in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get to see Lisa. I get to see friends. I get my steps in really easily. Like, it is nice because it feels like a home away from home. But then I do love going back because it's just... You'll see, when you and Lisa come over, you'll see, like, firsthand, you'll see how different it is.
Yeah. I'm excited to come over. Yeah. I really am. And then the question that we end every podcast with.
Oh, fuck's sake.
What do you think are some of the traits that make a good man?
That's a hard question.
It is hard.
How many can I pick?
As many as you want, or as few as you want.
Right. I think hardworking in any aspect, training, work, family, relation, just hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
Put the effort in. Respectful. And again, that's in every aspect because it's such a broad word.
Mm-hmm.
And kind, I suppose. Just be kind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop there.
Brilliant. Honestly, Cassandra, thanks so much. We've wanted to get you on for a while. A lot of people have actually requested to have you on as well. If you guys do have any questions, please do let us know. If any of you want to work with Cassandra, you can find her on Cassandra_TSHF.
Yep.
Or you can message through the main page or website. If you do have any questions for her, honestly, feel free to message. I hope that you kind of get more of an insight into the Cassandra that I kind of know, like how adorable she is, genuinely, and then you just get to see, like, and I hope you also as well, now that I've said some of the stuff that I've said, maybe you guys will start to notice it, or you'll be like, no, I totally agree with you, Thomas. And if you do, send Cassandra a message and let her know, egg her on, cheer her on. It helps everybody. I don't care how good they are. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Thanks for having me on. Finally.
It's been a pleasure. Right, thank you for listening. Any questions at all, just ask them down below.